Hello, welcome to From Me to Me and You. I am your host, Samia Leslie, and welcome to another amazing episode. Today we'll be talking about the untamable woman, or as they call it, the unpunishable woman. What sparked this conversation is literally a conversation that I had in my therapy session. I'm always going to hint at therapy. So basically, within my therapy session, I had to write an important email regarding something. And I was writing the email. And after that, my therapist asked me to read out the email, read it out loud, right? So I read it out loud. And she told me, Samia, why are you using can I? In an email that you have to be assertive, professional, you're using the statement, can I? You sound like a child. Now I was like, sound like a child? But yeah, you sound like a child. You should not be asking permission. Instead of use phrases such like is there a way to instead of using can I. You do not need permission from this person. Think of it like a child asking you, "Can I do this? Can I do this?" Another thing that sparked this conversation right now is the conversations on TikTok surrounding the untamable woman and the unpunishable woman. A lot of women are coming to the realization of what being tainted by the patriarchal gaze has done to how they view themselves and how the concept of being a good girl or being the image of respectability has really affected how they act and move in life and even affects how they see other women.
I'm not gonna lie, ever since I heard the term unpunishable woman, like a million light bulbs went off in my head. As someone at their big age, in their late 20s, always feeling this feeling that I'm gonna get in trouble somehow, who pays their own bills, who has been paying their own bills for years, feeling like, I'm gonna get in trouble. The term unpunishable woman, like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, I need to be that immediately.
And you can't blame women for feeling like this because obviously it is the product from being tainted by the patriarchal gaze. We see it in movies. The women who are quote unquote selfish or put themselves first are usually classified as villains and treated as such. But the women who are selfless and who play into the good girl
parent trap, a lot of women are like, wait, no, I get it. And I talked about this in my other video about women who wear fur. But the link between being best dressed and being a diva is consistent in the media. And it almost makes you believe that if these women are too polished, too focused on their own aesthetic, or too clear about their desires, that they're being difficult or shallow or too much. And essentially the diva's wardrobe just serves as a warning to be good and likable, being less demanding, less visible, and less invested in your own power. I think this conditioning suggests that a woman's interest in fashion or just in her appearance is linked to vapidity. And it effectively teaches girls to suppress their own personal agency.
and the girl trope often get the guy or get the desirable outcome. But in reality, is that really true? Are the good girls, the good wives, the good mothers, these selfless mothers, are they really rewarded with such a pleasant life? Say this, I'm not saying that you are not supposed to be the bare minimum of a good person. Looking at the fact that if you are just doing the quote unquote right things to fit into the stereotypes of what a good girl should be, you are failing yourself because you are missing out on the authenticity of actually getting to know yourself outside of the standards that society says that you should be and that you will get quote unquote rewarded for.
The fundamental principle of being a good woman under patriarchy is to remove yourself. And once you perform that removal convincingly, you are seen as the ideal. If you've ever noticed how women peacock for men, the first thing that they perform is a lack of self. And I can name so many examples of what that looks like. Think about it. What is the purpose of hinting at cooking, cleaning, and sex, if not to signal I have no self? And therefore you will not be required to fulfill me, but I will fulfill you. The desire to be led is another one. That is a performance of a lack of self, because if someone truly knew themselves, they would not require anyone to lead them. They would already know where they are going. And then there is religious women and religious womanhood. And I want to be careful here because faith is personal, but there is a version of it where her desires are never actually options. The design is that she finds her pleasure in service and giving and submission. And a woman who has been formed inside that structure has not just performed a lack of self, she has actually been disciplined out of having one. And this is what we mean by structures and how they shape women's identity. When you are shaped to practice this and you are rewarded for doing so, it starts to feel like the norm. So
Are not in middle school anymore. You are not in high school anymore. You are not in pre-K. You are not a little princess anymore. You are a queen and you should act like that. You don't need permission to do things that are necessary for yourself and for your growth. That's not you being selfish. And trust me, men, they do it all the time. And this is not the basic argument of, "Yeah, if a man can do it, so can a woman." But what I'm saying, as humans, we are supposed to balance being selfish and selfless. And relying on only being selfless will be to your demise because you will be taking out your energy from yourself, your resource, pouring it to other people, thinking that you'll get a reward. And to be honest, is that even being authentic? If you're just playing into this trope for a reward, are you really the quote unquote good Christian girl because you love God? Or because society told you that's how you're gonna get a husband? You are not gonna be punished for not being the pinup for what a good woman is. Cause nobody can check you. Come on, we're adults. Like, if they want to check you, post like if they really want to check you, let's fight. Let's go. Let's go. But no one can punish you anymore. No one can put you into the naughty corner anymore and tell you you're on timeout. And no one can do that. And it's like so crazy because as someone who is navigating that and unlearning that and making the transition into womanhood, I'm like, yes, nobody can punish me. Like, I feel like to be punished, you have to accept the punishment. Like, you have to mentally accept that. And to be honest, I ain't accepting shit. I ain't accepting shit. You will not be punished for going against the grain.
Okay. It is really important as a woman to remember that even when you make mistakes, you have a right to your dignity. You also do not have to accept being degraded and humiliated by other people, by systems of power, on or offline. And I do think this is really important. When I talk about what it means to be an unpunishable woman, there are times that our actions, even actions we might not be proud of, when we make mistakes, that they will have consequences, right? Perceptions of us may change. However, that does not mean that you deserve nor should you accept degradation, humiliation, unsafe behavior. Now, of course,
And I say we should embrace the untamable and unpunishable woman because they have made a way for themselves going against the grain of what society wants women to be and rewards women to be. And they're able to be successful within that. Hard. But it is important as women to find yourself and find who you are, find your desires outside of the patriarchal gaze. It will be hard, but it will be necessary for you to really embrace womanhood. And for that girl on TikTok saying that if you're 22 and older, you should not be a feminist, fuck that. Women, untamable women, unpunishable women gave you the right for you to be even on TikTok to talk. Embrace feminist logic, especially as you get older and with the experiences that you will encounter as a woman. I feel like the older you get, the more aware you become to the bullshit, become aware to the patriarchal gaze. And I feel like with that experience, it is important to mess that with feminist ideology to fight against that and not be complacent. They have a backbone. So I had to get out of character, which might be what she wanted, because we all know about rage bait on the internet. But I really, in case she actually meant that, which is crazy, she'll mix that with the traditional logic of wanting to be a wife. But you can want to be a wife, but understand the importance of advocating for yourself and being a human adult person. To be an adult, to not be a child and ruled by a man or by other adults, because you have autonomy, you have choice, and you have freedom to be what you want to be. And really think about the things you do. Don't use can I. Is there a way? You don't need to ask can I if you're a grown woman. You don't need to. You will not be punished. You will not be punished, my dear. Take up space, laugh loud, embrace things that are outside of the traditional roles of a woman or what good girls should do. You shouldn't want to be a good girl, but just be a good person. You should not want to be a good girl or a good wife for the approval of people. You should just want to be a good person because that's what you want to do. Miss me with that performative shit. Miss me with that bullshit. It's okay to embrace the things you want outside of the norms that society wants you to do. You are a woman and you have that power. Embrace it every day. Embrace the imperfections, because that's another thing with even the intersectionality of being a black woman. Embrace the imperfections that come with you being just a person navigating this world as a woman.
Terms. I want to acknowledge that misogynoir and its harmful effects are not going to be fixed by individual self-actualization alone. As the creator of the term, Moya Bailey, puts it, changes have to happen at the structural level of our society, not just the individual behaviors. And that's been a theme lately. However, that should not discourage us from doing self-work. Both are necessary, and it's individual action that leads to collective change. If each one of us dedicates ourselves to self-discovery and definition, there will eventually be a monumental shift that is less susceptible to propaganda. And with that, we finally arrived at the rest of Michelle Obama's answer to the invisibility question.
That invisibility, it starts here. We can't afford to wait for the world to be equal to start feeling seen. We're far from it. Just time will not allow it. It's not going to happen with one president, one vote. So you got to find the tools within yourself to feel visible and to be heard and to use your voice.
So I think that's enough of me yapping, because I don't want you to miss this point. It will be this video is supposed to be short and sweet and assertive. My name is Samia Leslie. This is From Me to Me and You, and today we talked about being an untamable and an unpunishable woman, and how society has punished the untamable woman or tries to punish the untamable women, and ways to escape that mind. Reminding you that you are not a child anymore. You are a grown woman, and you should learn how to embrace that and your responsibilities that come with that. No one can check you. No one can punish you because you are an adult. You are not a child. Once again, my name is Samia Leslie. This is From Me to Me and You. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, share, clip, everything that you need to do. And bye.